I recently built my first gaming PC, and I figured I'd document the process to share with you guys. Maybe you'll learn something from it, or at least get an idea of what to expect if you decide to build one yourself. I had to do a ton of research to make this happen, and if you're planning on doing the same, you're going to have to do your own research too, but at least I can show you what I did and why I made the choices that I did. My main goal was to build something powerful while keeping the cost as low as possible. Being 14 and still in middle school, I obviously don't have a ton of money to throw at a build like this. The only reason it was even possible is because my dad covered most of it as a Christmas gift. Huge thanks to him for that. I set my budget at under $800, and I actually came in way below that, with the total cost sitting at around $650. That being said, I did have to make some compromises, and you'll see exactly where I had to cut corners when I go over the parts. For the processor, I went with the AMD Ryzen 5 7600X. It's a 6-core CPU with a 4.7 GHz base clock and boosts over 5 GHz. I got it for $200 on sale at Best Buy, which was a solid deal. I specifically chose AM5 because it only works paired with DDR5 RAM, and I wanted the fastest memory possible. Plus, AM5 gives me an upgrade path for the future. I paired it with a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Halo because even though the 7600 runs hot, I didn't feel like dealing with liquid cooling, which is a huge extra cost. For RAM, I went with 32 GB of crucial DDR5 at 5600 megatransfers per second. At first, I was debating between 16 GB and 32 GB, but I ended up going with 32 GB for future-proofing. Honestly, I'm glad I did. Just running my usual programs and games eats up 60 to 80% of it already. The GPU is where I had to make the biggest compromise. I'm using an AMD RX 470 4GB, which I already had on hand. It's old and it's definitely not ideal, but it gets the job done. My main game is Fortnite, and I can get 80 to 120 FPS on high-ish settings, which is honestly better than I expected. Still, I'll be upgrading soon. I'm currently looking at RTX 4060s and a few other AMD cards. The power supply is a Thermaltake 700 watt ATX unit. Cheap, but it works. It's not the best, but I'll swap it out when I upgrade the GPU. For storage, I went with the 1TB SATA SSD. I didn't bother with NVMe because I just didn't need one. At some point, I might pick up a smaller NVMe drive for dual booting different operating systems. I mostly use Linux, and in the future, I'd like to use this PC for AI training and other computational tasks that are just better optimized for Linux. My motherboard is an MSI B650P Wi-Fi. I got it because it has multiple PCIe X16 slots and 4 RAM slots, which is great for future upgrades. It's a full ATX board, but I don't mind the size since it gives me more flexibility later on. Everything is housed in a Corsair 4000D Airflow, mainly because I liked the black minimalist look. Building the PC itself was honestly pretty stressful. I've messed around with old desktops before and even built some basic servers, but this was my first time dealing with modern hardware. Luckily, everything went together fine, and the only real struggle was cable management, which, by the way, sucked, and I'm terrible at it. Once everything was up and running, I installed my graphics drivers, downloaded a browser, fuck you Edge, Discord, Spotify, and some other essentials. I'll link all the stuff I use in the description. I've been using this PC for about a month now, and other than my ancient GPU, I have zero complaints. It runs Fortnite, Counter-Strike, and War Thunder really well. I also experimented with crypto mining, just to see what would happen. I did make some money, but not enough to actually turn a profit. I like to mess around with it more, but that's a topic for another video. Anyway, enough talking. Here's some gameplay to show you what this computer can do. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it informative. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Helps the channel out a ton and it doesn't cost anything. And with that being said, see you in the next video.